I'm gonna. Hey, please.
Hold on. I'm getting ready to go live, you guys. Give me a minute. Hold it. Yes, sir. It's your boy K6 right here on the Shakedown Radio Showcase, live and real talk. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for the real talk, and we got a special guest today. And I know you guys are going to be excited about it. I'm excited about it. Been waiting for about a week now. They've been abroad and now they're home. We're so glad to have them. We're going to introduce them in a minute. But like I always introduce my team members, Miss Katrina Diamond, say what's up to the people.
Hey, everybody, what's going on?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Katrina Diamond, how was your weekend? You enjoyed the weekend?
I can't complain. I had an excellent week. I have to tell you about it later.
Oh, man. That's what I'm talking about. And we got my main man to the right of me, like always. Like always. Mr. Flick It Up, what it is, man?
Man, what's good, man? We here, man. Love and peace and happiness right here, boy.
So
Mr.
Flick It Up. Like always, like always. And we got a special guest. Katrina Diamond's going to introduce our special guest. Who is our special guest?
I was so looking forward tonight. I am honored to introduce Miss Primrose. She has worked and advocated for families for over 2 decades, and currently resides in Florida. She has a wealth of experience as a motivational speaker, life coach, master of ceremonies, and classroom teachers, professor, professional development specialist, counselor, and author. While building a network to inspire our youth, she is also the founder of Sisters Build Network for Girls Incorporated mentoring program. Miss Primrose, um, she has a book and it's called Princess Primrose. Represents the children of the world who blossom with love and care. A woman, y'all, a woman of excellence. Welcome to our show.
A woman of excellence. Miss Primrose, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm excited.
I am super excited to have you here. I've been trying to get you here on the show for some time now. I am a advocate of yours. I follow everything that you do. I love what you're doing in the community, with the girls, with the men as well. So it's not just girls that I see that you do work for. But I want to get to this book. What was the inspiration? What inspired you to do a book called Princess Primrose Goes to Washington, D.C.? What was the inspiration behind it? What inspired you to write this book?
Yeah, I've had the opportunity to work with children from whether here or Jamaica or various locations. And, I see this constant need of the family unit and allowing children to just be kids, right? So a lot of times what we see in social media, what we see on television, all of that stuff tells us that a 6-year-old can act 16 and we call it cute. When I'm more of the mind frame and of the family unit that says a 6-year-old should just be a 6-year-old. So having parents that have been together well over 45 years, I thought not love take time and just honor the family unit and allow kids to be kids and show them how it is to be loved and how it is to kind of learn some skills necessary on their journey to growing up in life. So I'm just inspired by kids and I'm inspired by families.
Oh wow!
So are you originally from Jamaica or are you from Florida? So I was born. That's always the hardest question for me. I actually was born in Stamford, Connecticut, and my parents, both parents, were actually born in Jamaica. And so by the time I was 2 years old, my father joined the military, and so we traveled. I was able to graduate high school in Germany.
So we just kind of went from location to location. But what I was able to do is hold on to our Jamaican roots and learn most about that because it was kind of hard to adapt to everywhere we had moved throughout my time.
Okay, okay. I know I've
Mm-hmm.
had the privilege of meeting you, and we have sat down on a
Yeah.
couple of occasions, and we've talked. You've introduced me to some friend of yours of project that I'm currently still working on.
Nice.
Um, when it comes to you mentoring girls, um, do you mentor in different ages, or is there a specific age group that you try to focus on?
Right. So for Sistersville Network for Girls Incorporated, because I actually mentor women as well, but for the
Hmm.
girls, we are working with grades 3 through 12, right? And so, but
Okay.
majority of our students right now are elementary and middle, but we do have a few high school students.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Okay. So do you travel from school to school to mentor the girls, or do you, if it's like you have like different conferences, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you
Yeah.
mentor them? Do you have your own facility, or you just travel,
Well, I
to do your
don't have my
mentoring?
own facility, but let's put that out in the air, right, Katrina? So that
Okay.
maybe the universe
Mm-hmm.
will pick it up. So we actually meet the first Saturday of every month at the Chisholm Center in DeLand. And in addition to the ladies coming together, the boys come as well, the Man Up Mentoring Program, which falls
Mm-hmm.
under the umbrella of Sistersville Network. So we see about 30 students every month, and that's a set date, the first Saturday. And then what we do is we also add additional events or opportunities, whether it is volunteering at the nursing home or whether it is, before I left for Jamaica, we actually went to Channel 6 and visited and learned more about media. And then we went to Cox Media, which is the 94.5 and the Power Station group. And they got to witness JoJo doing what she does, which is super fabulous. So we took the time to go there. So we take trips and different opportunities just to learn and kind of broaden where the
Mm-hmm.
students are now and where they can be.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
listen, this book, I was reading some of it, and the book,
Yeah.
um, it's about Princess Primrose going to Washington
Yeah.
D.C. and experiencing um, D.C. and the things that you see. Um, there were some things in there that I saw that I read that there was a connection with the parents, with the mother,
Right,
and
right.
the father. There's a lot of little girls that actually read this book or will read this book
Yeah.
and not understand that connection. Is there something that we can say or encourage them what this connection is, what it's from? Because we got mostly what 75, 85% of our homes are single family homes, no matter if it's females or
Yeah.
males. And a lot of these girls, we want them to grow up and understand. But I think from the book, that part of connection, I think there'll be misconnect. How do we get them to come back and get that connection, even though they don't have both parents in the home?
Right. So you know what I share with folks, and even my son, Devin,
Right.
and he says, "Well, mom, kids in our community, they're not doing that." And I said, "But son, you did, right? You had opportunities that I decided, even as a single parent for many years, that he was going to have regardless. And just because he wasn't raised in an intact family, didn't mean he wouldn't understand it for himself." And the
Right.
reason that I realized, you never know when you're raising your kid if they're even listening to anything that you've said.
Right.
But he told me something very recently when I was asking about his current relationship, and he said, "Mom, no offense to you, but I've seen some things not work out, and I don't want that for me." So they do understand it. They know it exist. It just may not exist for them right now. So it is our hope that when we share this message and when we share the reading and the teaching of Princess Primrose going to Washington, D.C., that they see that there is life outside of their immediate existence. By the time, my grandmother probably had my mother in her early teens. My mother had me at 17. I had my son at 19. But that doesn't, and now my son is 24 and he doesn't have any children yet. So, at some point, we can only hope to break the cycle and further develop our kids into, what could be. My parents, like I mentioned earlier, they've been together well over 45 years. So I didn't get it right. Right? But somebody did. So I know it's doable and possible because I've witnessed it and I've worked with folks who has been doable and possible, and it actually can occur. I allow Princess Primrose to be a kid and not have to worry about all that adult stuff that we deal with. And then for the homes that don't have an intact family and mom and dad maybe aren't together, we know it occurs, but at the very least, you almost have to ask yourself, and they are together in the book, but some have asked themselves, oh, are they together? Why is he away? Why is she somewhere else? Like all of that, right? But if you really take a deeper look, what if they weren't together and they still went on family trips for the sake of the child? What if they're not together and they still work together closely to co-parent? I mean, how beautiful the world would be that eventually the kids would be able to be kids and adults are the ones who deal with all that adult stuff. I hate seeing a child dealing with adult stuff. That's the last thing. When you have a mom maybe speaking poorly of the father speaking poorly of the mother. So I think we can create the atmosphere that our kids understand it, although they're not currently living it. And here's my other thing, right? This is the thing that, if this is the last thing that's ever done, I just hope that I don't even care if I'm responsible for it. But you know how everything is trending, right? There's certain things that are trending.
Everything is always trending.
Right? So here's the thing, Kay. What if we allow co-parenting or family units or loving on our children? What if that was trending? Can you imagine? Right? Go from place to place. You've been to Germany, right? So what do you went to Germany? Yeah, and then going to Jamaica, and then drizzle into Florida, and then touch on Washington D.C. Let's create an atmosphere that allows the family unit and the sake of love, for the sake of love. Right? Because I truly believe that children are created within some form of love, whatever the love is. We won't even go there, but right.
It was love at some point.
At some point. I don't remember what that minute, right?
Right.
Like at some point, somebody loves something. So what if we said, for the sake of love, I don't care when someone says, oh, I wasn't really dating her. I was this, I wasn't that. And I know I'm going really deep in it, but it's a children's book for the surface, but I really want parents to dig into the fact that we can change this thing and we can be trending by just doing the right thing, being kind, being patient, nothing happens before time, and just allowing ourselves to act in our own realm and doing what's right by the kids.
Right. And for you, right, and for you to say that, like, we had like co-parenting going on with with our mom and our stepmom. They were together. We wasn't with them. You know what I'm saying? So they used to go to the grocery store together or go to get their hair done. My stepmom wasn't driving, and my mom used to go pick her up, and they go places. You know what I'm saying? So we had that. Because they didn't bicker. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it was, even though we was raised by our father, we still had that connection with our mother. You know what I'm saying? So
doable, possible.
Yes. Maturity is what I call it. But grown people.
Here's my thing. How do we even start that process to be trending? Because I'm gonna tell you something, and I hear it all the time when I actually describe, how my parents co-parent like that. First thing they say, oh, we don't do that in our community. That's not our people.
Yes.
You must be white. You must have some white folks in your family. How do we stop that stereotype of thinking so we can all get? Because what happened is it's moving down the chain. All it takes when the mom thinks like that, then it passes on to the daughter, then it passes on to the other daughter, passes on to the other daughter, or they have this big grudge that men are no good. Oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. You need. It's so much of negativity trending. How do we even start to try to get the positive trending? Because even though we take a group of girls and bring them in a positive atmosphere for that moment, how do we get them to take that home and allow the individuals to take in that education that they learned while they were away? Because there's a lot of families you can leave for a moment, you go back home and try to experience that. The first thing they do is shut down a child on that education or on that experience. How do we stop that trend, and how do we bring in this trend of love, co-parenting, respecting each other as sisters? Because I'm going to tell you one thing that's a problem, and it's not helping our community. When a bunch of women start a club or organization together, and then you sit back and watch these women tear each other down behind their back.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
And it never fails that I have seen this continually go on. Yeah. Katrina Diamond had a bike club, a women's bike club. It was an all-women bike club. Mm-hmm. That women bike club, and excuse me, Katrina Diamond, for saying this because I saw it, that bike club fell apart from the inside out and not from the outside in.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with outsiders. You know, it was all within, you know. But we as women have to, and we were talking on the show one night, and we can do it better together. Instead of tearing each other down, we can grow together. We can learn from each other, you know. And if we take that and run with it, we'll be so much better and get so much further. You know, we can do it better together as women. We can, you know, especially with single mothers. You know what I'm saying? We can learn from each other, man. There's so much, you know, if we stop tearing each other down, like crabs, man, and I can't say this enough. We are like crabs, you know. I mean, we can grow. We can do it better together, you know, and that's my motto on it, you know.
It's so true.
And here's my thing about that crab scenario, right? We can be crabs, right? It's a matter of while we imagine you're a crab, right? Constantly crabs have this tendencies to grab another and pull each other down. But a lot of times, crabs, you know, they're the bottom of the sea. But there are some crabs that will say, okay, enough's enough. I tell you what, stand on my back. I'm going to lift up, you grab the pot, pull yourself out, and then it sticks its claw in and grabs the other one. And the next thing you know, you got crabs running over the floor that escape from all the other crabs pulling. We have those individuals that's willing to lift each other up, but it's not enough. It's not enough. And between women and men, we have to build organizations that constantly go out and announce this stuff that, look, we can do better than what we're doing. No matter what kind of community we're in, the Muslim community, the gay community, the black community, we have to let them know that we can do better than tearing each other down from the inside out. Because the book, Princess Primrose Goes to Washington, actually shows that all the love that's on the inside and what's on the outside did not matter, did not affect. It started from the inside in the love. And you can see that, envision that as she grow, that she will carry and share that same love amongst other people. But when does that stop? Because with a lot of us, it stops. And why does that stop?
The thing. But here's the thing. It needs to start with us. And so, you know, I tell people all the time, I can only be responsible for me. You're responsible for you, and so on. Right? So I'm just going to continue modeling. So I could be in a in a location, everyone's cursing, everyone's smoking, everyone's drinking. And I can still stand alone and not be that person. And somebody look at me from across the room and they say, wait a minute, what makes her so different? And maybe they want to do it too. So now we're trending. Right.
Right.
So yeah, that's what we look forward to.
I was gonna say it'd be about emotional things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For man and woman, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it'd be emotional things and people being their feelings and being emotional. Right. You know, so it's that's what it is. And then when jealousy comes around or this comes around, or they just dislike, instead of, like I was saying earlier today when I went live, I was telling people that, you know what I'm saying, first off, you got to start off your day with a positive mind. And then after that, if you do have a problem with someone, it's best to just talk to them, regardless, even how upset you be, because you might find out, you know, you might be wasting your time being upset. You know what I mean? Because you see it the wrong way. Because, you know, we don't understand each other as well as if we don't communicate with each other. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's what it is. We just gotta communicate, because some people just ain't on the same level as you, or they don't move the way you move, and you gotta understand them. So that's why, as us people, that's why we do communicate. That's why we gotta, you know, really actually, you know, take the time to know people, man. As in saying, knowing each other, so we can be better. You know.
Right. That was true.
Right. Listen, I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the Shakedown Radio Showcase live right here, right now. We're talking with Dr. Cameron Primrose about her book, what's going on, other things that's going on. Looking forward to definitely hear more. I want everybody to stay tuned in, stay focused. Listen, make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and so on. Dr. Primrose, we have another guest now. His name is Frederick Alfred Jones. He's a motivation speaker and a man. He was saying something earlier about that. Alfred, what was that you were saying?
Pertaining to the crabs in the bucket theory?
Yes.
Yeah, man. I mean, I got a different spin I learned on how to deal with crabs in the bucket, man. I've always been taught, you know, the way for a crab to make it out the bucket is to make his move while the other crabs are sleeping.
Wow.
That's safe.
Wow.
Hello?
You there?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Well, see, this is what happened when you get a Metro phone and you try to avoid the primary users. So what we need to do is upgrade our network, our phone service, so when you come on the air live, everybody can hear you loud and clear. Ain't that right? Flick it up. Sometimes you got to move away from Metro, right?
You're right. Yeah, but I still love Metro. Metro's still giving it in. As long as you turn it down, we still go live on Metro. Hey, we got people going viral on Metro.
Oh man. That ain't right. Hey, so listen, I'm gonna say my thing one more time and we'll get Alfred back on real quick. Thank you everybody for tuning in to the Shakedown Radio Showcase live and real talk right here, right now. Make sure that you follow us on Facebook. Make sure you go to our YouTube channel. Right now we actually broadcasting YouTube live.
Please leave your message.
Make sure that you go to YouTube live. Go to YouTube live and check us out. I'm only coming on Facebook to share you guys our YouTube live, man. I want you guys definitely go to our YouTube live. You'll see the link. Click on the link. You can actually hear us live on YouTube. You get a better clarity and the sound. A lot better on YouTube than you would on Facebook. Sometimes our Facebook shuts down and locks us out. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Charity, we appreciate you guys tracking and whatnot. We're talking with Dr. Primrose Cameron. We're talking about motivation speaking, life coaching, and all that additional stuff. But most important, I want everybody to go to Amazon.com, check out her book, Princess Primrose, go to Washington, D.C.
All right.
It's an excellent book. Look, just like you guys supported the other author that I have on about a vegan book, I want you guys to definitely go and support this book. This book is definitely an important book for little girls around. It's important for our communities. This book will inspire others. So I definitely want you guys to support her. Check the book out. Listen, if you got a Kindle or download the Kindle app, the book only $7.99. Now, if you want a paperback, the book is $10.99. Primrose, you see how I'm advertising your book for you?
I see you.
I know how to do it. So Miss Primrose, we know that you work with little girls, but how often do you work with boys or with boys groups?
Right. So at the mentoring program, we actually, the Man Up Mentoring Program was founded by Sean King. It has been recently merged with Sistersville Network for Girls Incorporated. So when we meet and actually have additional activities, the guys and girls meet together and for Saturday seminar, and then we separate about an hour later. Guys go with guys, girls go with girls. We've actually had a retreat for the girls where we rented an Airbnb and did the whole overnight, and the guys had camping. So we actually work linear as much as possible and put our resources together so that we can give children the full effect of what it means to not only be mentored, but to have life-altering experiences.
Right.
So y'all,
that sounds good.
So I want to ask you a question. Do y'all be doing like etiquette, stuff like that?
Yeah, we just had, I'm so glad you asked that. We actually had a etiquette dinner about 3 weeks ago. It's fully sponsored by Joe Hearn Events and also Diamond L Venue in Deltona, Florida. And so the guys and girls were present there as well. We had a full program. You know, they learned how to eat with proper etiquette and their table manners, and even, you know, how we talk at the table. Whether or not we should be talking at people, you know, during dinner time. But yeah, so they had the full experience for that. That was really recent. That was about 3 weeks ago.
Okay,
did they learn how to distinguish between the dinner fork, the salad fork, the spoon, and how the placement goes? That is so important. Because you know, a lot of times we as Black people, we don't know that. You know what I'm saying? Our kids, because, you know, growing up, you know, a lot of us, I mean, we didn't set the table, but we sat at the table as a family growing up, you know, with my mom and dad. You know, we sat at the table as a family. But, you know, a lot of us as Black kids, we don't know about the salad fork, the dinner fork, you know, the placement of the forks, and no, it's not the same fork.
No, I'm saying we use the same fork.
You say you use,
right. I was like,
what? I'm sorry, I misunderstood you.
A fork is a fork to a brother. Like, we don't know which one is what. You know, we just pick that fork up and get to work.
Right. Yeah, so that's good to know that, you know, that we are out there teaching our kids that, you know, that's so important. You know. So,
and you know, I will tell you that when I started, I originally was only going to work with 5th through 12th graders, but the more that I work with those that are older, and I've been a guidance counselor in high school, I've taught high school English, I just was reminded that when you're working with the kids and they're older, they're almost really set in their ways. So what great way then to work with them in their younger years and help move them up. So we actually modified and started working with 3rd grade. And then Kay, you asked something earlier, not only with the boys, but I also have the Calling a Few Good Men conference, which is a traveling conference that holds men responsible for the lives of our children. And what happens at the end of that conference is that we have men who sign up to be mentors. So we also do that, right? But I tell people all the time, I'm not a dude. So I need dudes to do what dudes do, you know?
the thing about that, we need the right dudes to do what they do.
Right.
That's one of the biggest things that we need to have, because not every man can mentor or have the capacity to mentor individuals.
Right.
I think a lot of times there's some men who think they can mentor individuals, but we teaching them the wrong things. We teaching the wrong things. I also have my reservations on, doing camps, going camping, talking to the boys. This new generation, you have to come with a different approach than camping. Even though a lot of us never been camping, we take the boys camping. After a while, it's just camping in them. No, we did camping. I think something more valuable needs to be put into that, to really teach a boy or mentor a boy. What I want to say is the growth of becoming a man.
Right.
I can say that with experience. Here's my thing. So I did a mentor group probably about 4 years ago. And we did something, that this mentor men group in Lakeland did something quite different. Instead of taking them camping, we actually took them to a military facility that did training. Let me tell you something. More than camping, that military training, that aspect of working in a team, getting with individuals, doing things that you don't want to do, taught those boys when you grow up in life, there's things that you're not going to want to do, but you have to do it. There's people that you're not going to like, but you're going to have to work with them.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think we need to have more aspects of those type of things, outings, when we deal with our boys that are coming up. Flick it up. You can kind of agree with me. Camping is just camping to some of these boys.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they come back, they do not take any of that in.
Yeah. Yeah, but what I was going to say is that I do feel what you said, because it's all about, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to say it like this. I'm going to speak my lingo and keep it honest. It's just being real. Like, let's just keep it real, but at the same time, it's more like being educational with it too at the same time. Like how you were saying, like, you gonna work, and there's gonna be somebody you just don't like. You don't want to lose your job. If you lose your job, then you can't pay your bills, you can't do none of the stuff. So you gotta know how to control yourself and do it more of in a professional way. Because some of the kids wouldn't know how to really actually conduct themselves in a situation. So we really have to teach our men how to conduct themselves in the situation, because they're gonna feel like, oh, hey, he tried me and I have to do this. Because that's how it is when if you're in the neighborhood, if you're in the hood, you don't want to be bullied, or you don't want to be, pushed over or anything like that. So, you're gonna really stand up for yourself, and you ain't gonna let nothing ride like that. But some things you gotta know to let it go and understand you got something more valuable than in the situation. So that's what I understand. I understand what you said.
Yeah, exactly.
What's up? What?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Well, that's why it's so important for the fathers to play a part. That's why it's so important for fathers to spend time. That's why it's so important, instead of the mom always going to a PTA meeting, for the fathers to go too. That's why it's so important for a father to attend a football game, a baseball game. That's why it's so important for a father to be a father and not, and not be absent, or even if they're absent, to be a part. To know, what's going on with that child. It's so important for the dad, because you have men, okay, that have children or boys, and they don't know how to teach their son to be a man. So I mean, they have to know how. They have to know how to even raise a child, to raise a son, to even teach him the know-hows. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, we can sit and we can say, you know what I'm saying, that, this is what we do, but the father has to be there. You know what I'm saying? Have to put that time in and not always send them off, or not always, if they're going on that camping trip, guess what? You make arrangements and go on that camping trip too. If they're going somewhere off to a football game, right, you make arrangements to go off to that football game too. Right. You know what I'm saying? They have to be present. They have to see that. You know what I'm saying? And not someone else.
Right. But that's why we got to start with, I'm going to tell you my feeling about it. I think that's why we got to start with our women, because I'm going to agree, they are the backbone, our little girls, to understand, conflict, to be able to put aside to that, to be able to work with each other, as opposite said. Because I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of men that just don't know how to be fathers. They know how to make a baby, but they don't know how to be a father. They can't even comprehend the first thing to do, or what to do, or where to start, or even if they want to start, because they came from that cycle of it. And to them, it's okay to do that. It's okay to do that. Look, I appreciate everybody tuning in tonight to the Shakedown Showcase Radio, live and real talk. We here with Dr. Cameron Primrose, author, activist, life coach, motivation lead professor, whatever you want to call her. She's an excellent. She's a woman of excellence. She is a woman of excellence. We're glad to have her on the show. We will have to continue this show and bring her back if she's willing to come back.
I'm willing to come back.
Of course. You're
right. Yep. And also, like I said before, don't forget to go to Amazon.com. Check out her book, Princess Primrose Goes to Washington, D.C. You can also find it by typing in Primrose Cameron. That's Primrose Cameron. You can type that in. The book will come up. It's a nice little black little girl that looks like Primrose, probably when she was little. I seen her father and mother. I saw some resemblance in the cartoons drawings there.
You saw it,
right? But listen, definitely support her, so she could continue to do what she do by purchasing these books, by also supporting our broadcast. It helps us to support the community. Y'all guys, like I say, if you support us, we support you to be able to support us and also keep the cycle going. Katrina Diamond, any last words for the people?
Man, just Primrose, I tell you, you are doing such an amazing job. Keep up the good work, and I would love to come, to one of your conferences whenever you have them. Just keep me posted,
please.
And just continue to do God's work with our children. And whenever you ever need me, please, I still have your number. I'm gonna text you to make sure you have mine. And just keep doing what you're doing, and that's being a powerful, excellent woman of excellence, a phenomenal woman. So, I take my hat off to you. I salute you, Mama. Just continue to do what you're doing.
Thank you so much, sis. I truly appreciate it.
And Mr. Flick It Up, what you got to say, Flick It Up? Come on, Black Hippie.
Hey, man. Hey, listen, man. We're going to keep it 100, man. Don't worry about going to the temple. Get the real physical book, man. $10.99, man.
Say it.
You feel? Hey, but yeah, man, I'm gonna just tell you, Primrose, it was, like I said, she was the first one I ever did my first commercial with, and I don't know, man, I love you, man. I'm glad.
I love you too.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm glad that you're doing what you're doing, and you still continue doing what you're doing, and just keep doing what you're doing, and like saying, like Katrina said, man, you're doing a phenomenal job, man. And just do your thing.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys so much.
And Miss Dr. Cameron Primrose, any final words for our listeners out there, and how they can find you and how they can follow you on your social media, any other platforms? Please give that information to them right now so they can do so.
Definitely. I first just want to say thank you guys. Kay, you've been there from the start. You kind of watched all of this unfold. So I'm so appreciative. And, you've extended your friends and your family with me. So, Katrina and Mr. Flick It Up, I appreciate it on so many levels. And what's so beautiful about this thing called family is even when you don't see someone on a daily basis, they have your back. And so, what I would say to the listeners is this thing called life cannot be done alone. It has to be a community affair. And so I'm so appreciative that there are folks that believe in the vision and that have just loved on me and supported me through this process. So if you did not know who I was before, that is likely, right? Because there's so many that may not. Please check me out on primrosecameron.com and also Primrose Cameron. I'm on my Facebook page, on my Instagram page, and on Twitter, I am Primrose on Air. And so, I always like to say, I'm PrimroseCameron.com, and you guys heard it here first. That's what I'm saying.
Always. I would definitely post up that information on our YouTube channel and into our comments. We'll make sure that we get that information posted, and that's so they can actually find you and purchase that book as well. Y'all know how I do and how I say right here, right? So what I like to say, like always, inspire yourself to inspire others to motivate yourself. Let's go. The Shakedown Radio Showcase.
All right. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Yes, bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.
All right.
Perfect. That ended well. I appreciate y'all guys tuning in to our YouTube channel. Continue to follow us. Don't forget to make sure you subscribe. Smash that button right here on our YouTube channel. We'll definitely show the love, whatnot. Also, stay tuned for the Real Hip Hop and R&B segment with Mr. Flick It Up. He'll be going on in the next few minutes or so. So y'all know how he do it. Mr. Flick It Up live.
Mr. Flick It Up.
So once again, everybody in YouTube land, I appreciate you guys tuning in and watching. And continue to watching as we continue to grow. Stay tuned. We get ready to go live with the hip hop station. Shakedown Radio Showcase is live on our platform. If you guys want to be involved, definitely go to shakedownshowcase.com. Drop us a line. You can see all the different platforms. Click on it. Check it out, man. Browse it. Leave us a message. Whatever you want to say. If there's a topic you want to talk about, but come back with it, man. This is how we do it. We out on YouTube, man. I appreciate you guys. Make sure you hit that subscribe, that button. Hit the subscribe button. Hit that bell and show us some love, man. Appreciate you. Love you. Yay, all the way. If I must say, if I can get you to go away.
Your phone was going in and out.
Yeah, bro.
It was?
It was dead for a minute.
Oh, no. It was.
Listen, I said he talking about somebody else about Metro.
No, it was.